Colorado High School Activities Association softball is on 1010 KSIR and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. This afternoon from Aurora Sports Park, it's the opening round of the 3A state tournaments as the Brush Bee Diggers, the 2nd seed, take on the 15 seed Peak to Peak Pumas. And a pleasant good afternoon. I'm John Beltran with the Bee Diggers at 20-3 going in, winners of 18 of their last 19 games, and Peak to Peak at 11-11. As the opening pitch about to be delivered by Mason Unrein is brought to you by Buildings by Design. And stepping in for Peak to Peak from the right side, as we'll set the lineup, the entire lineup momentarily, is Maggie Wallace, the catcher. And the pitch to be delivered by Unrein. And that's on the inside corner for a strike. Unrein had an excellent season, really down the stretch. Was outstanding for Brush. Established herself as the clear number 1 pitcher. And the offering, up and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Peak to Peak is hitting .339 as a team. Wallace hitting .552, so this is their best hitter right now. Wearing their white uniforms, the Bee Diggers in the gold and black pants, swinging a foul. The Bee Diggers have Olivia Gillick at first. The second baseman is Brisa Aguirre Garcia. Alicia Hernandez at third. Braylon Rules at short. Around the outfield, Cashin Tattolini in left. Carly Tattolini in center. In right field is Avery Lefevre and Amaya Bruno behind the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the pitch. Rise ball is up and away. And the count levels at 2-2. A nice, very pleasant afternoon. Slight wind, 73 degrees at first pitch, and a 2-2. Swing and a miss on a pitch on the outer half. 1 down here in the top of the first inning for Sydney Cusack, and you just struck out a .552 hitter. And now you're facing Cusack hitting .429, only a sophomore. Quite a bit of youth on this team, only 3 seniors, 2 of which are starters for Peak to Peak as opposed to the Bee Diggers. The pitch, swing and a miss. On a pitch on the outer half, the winner of this game will play against either the 7 seed, the Academy, or the 10 seed Lamar. That game is going on a corresponding field. And Unrein to the plate, swinging a pop-up on the infield on the left side. Braylon Rule makes the one-handed catch, 2 down. Yeah, these Bee Diggers are confident. 3 wins away from reaching the state championship game, which most recently they were at in 2019. Did get to the state semis 2 years ago. Here's Leah Laguerre. Another right-handed hitter, close stance, the pitch. And that bounces in. A .434 senior. 1 ball and no strikes. You know, the Bee Diggers play their game. They'll be more than okay. You get out of here in about an hour and a half and advance to the quarterfinals. 16-team field. Unrein with a 1-0. That is upstairs with a rise ball, 2 balls and no strikes. On deck is Elena Carpenter. The pitch, that's high. 3-0 here to Laguerre, the number 3 hitter, with 2 down and the bases empty in the top of the first inning. Boy, this place is packed too. The offering. Swung on and fouled. I'm not sure what. Swinging at a 3-0 when you're the underdog on a pitch that really jammed her. It's 3-1, but I guess Peak to Peak is going up there aggressively. 3 balls and 1 strike. Yeah, normally at the playoff level, that's a take sign all the way. But it wasn't there. Let's see if Unrein can come all the way back with his 3 ball, 1 strike count. The offering. That is a strike. Wow. That is at the bottom of the zone, and I mean the bottom of the zone. 3-2. Laguerre back in the box. And the 3-2 pitch swung on and grounded foul off to the right side. A late swing, and the count remains at 3-2. The Bee Diggers began the season at 2-2 and then all of a sudden exploded, going on that 16-game winning streak. 18-1 in their last 19. They only lost 1-0 to Eaton. Payoff pitch. Foul to the backstop. A pitch in on the hands. It remains at 3-2. The rest of the lineup goes like this. After Carpenter, Dagny West hits 5th. Haley Haskins in left hits 6th. The pitcher, Karina LaForte, hits 7th. Kayla Corain hits 8th. And Haley Weintraub will bat 9th. 3-2. Changeup bounces in. It's a walk. And here is Carpenter batting .473. Solid, certainly at the top of the lineup. Mason Unrein with only 1 loss this season, as I just referenced, 7-1 and a 3.79 ERA. And the pitch swung on and lifted into right field. Avery Lefevre's got a range to her left, and she's going to make the catch. Plenty of tail on that fly ball with that wind blowing. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a base runner left. Let's head to the bottom of the first inning. Peak to Peak does not score, and the Bead Diggers are coming to bat on 1010 KSIR and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. John Beltran back with you as we head to the bottom of the first inning. Peak to Peak does not score. The Bead Diggers starting lineup is brought to you by Equitable Savings and Loan. Check them out on the web, equitable-savings.com. Batting first for the Bead Diggers is the left fielder, Cashlyn Tattolini. Braylon Rule hits second. Carly Tattolini's the third hitter. In the cleanup position is Alicia Hernandez. Brisa Aguirre Garcia hits 5th. Avery Lefevre hits 6th. Mason Unrein bats 7th. The DH Keely Langford hits 8th. Amaya Bruno bats 9th. Against the right-hander, Karina LaForte. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Took something off it. And Cashlyn Tattolini was out in front. No balls and 1 strike to the senior left fielder. And the offering. Swung on and fisted up the first base side. A dive and a catch on that flare. A tremendous play by the catcher, Wallace. That is an all-star play on a ball that only went a few feet off to the first base side in foul territory. She dove, laid out, and made the catch, and it only had about 10 feet off the ground, 1 down. And all Tattolini tried to do was put it in play or just foul it off. Here's Braylon Rule, the pitch. Upstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. The Bead Diggers, as a softball team, are hitting .423. LaForte looks in. And the pitch. And that bounces to the plate. 2-0. Laguerre's at first. Sydney Cusack is at second. The third baseman is Alina Carpenter. Dagny West is in between them at short. Haley Haskins in left. Kayla Corain in center, Haley Weintraub in right, and Maggie Wallace just made that great play behind the plate. 2-0, and a check swing, and they check over at first, did not swing. It's 3-0 on the ball that was down and in. Need base runners here like everything else, so 3-0, you would assume that Braylon Rule will be taking. And the offering. That is a strike on the outer half. It's 3-1. 3 balls and 1 strike to the Bead Digger shortstop, another senior on this team. No score, 1 out, bases empty in the bottom of the first inning. And the pitch, swing and a miss. Boy, tremendous changeup. That's 2 consecutive batters that LaForte has utilized the changeup to, but Braylon Rule still has 1 pitch to go here, 3-2. And the offering, changeup is in the dirt. And it's a walk. That's a good take there by Braylon Rule. Lots of speed already on the bases. Here's Carly Tattolini. Carly hitting .500 and has driven in 31 runs, second on the team. The lone lefty in this Brush lineup. She might be taking a pitch with Rule running the pitch. And that's down and away. Runner going to second. The throw's a good one, but she's in there. And Braylon Rule with an excellent job of sliding to the outfield side of the bag. And the count is at 1 ball and no strikes to Carly Tattolini. The first RBI opportunity of the state tournament is sitting at second base. Tattolini with a slightly open stance. Karina LaForte looks in. And the pitch. Swung on and grounded right back to LaForte. Throws to first for the out. Boy, she stabbed it out of the air. on that big hop. Advancing to third is ruled, 2 down. Boy, so far, Peak to Peak has demonstrated some defense. That was not easy. Here's Alicia Hernandez. Hernandez hitting .423. The pitch, swing and a miss, and the B-Diggers, they got to pay attention in the on-deck circle. That's already 3 or 4 batters she's thrown changeups to, and she's going to be utilizing that quite a bit. And the offering, and that's a heater, but that's inside, and the count levels at 1-1. Yeah, that's the way Lafort is going to attempt to neutralize that Brush offense with those changeups. And the Puma right-hander to the plate. Swung on and grounded off the third baseman. It's picked up. The throw to first is going to go into foul territory. Hernandez headed for second. She's going to be in there as Rule scores. Now she's taking off for third. The throw is not going to be made. And the B-Diggers lead 1-0. Well, you know what? It was right at the third baseman, but I'm calling that a base hit. It was hit so hard. That would be a tough error there on Carpenter, but she did throw it away, so it's a base hit and an error. Give the RBI to Hernandez, and Brush has a 1-0 lead. Here is Brisa Aguirre Garcia. Let's see if Brisa can respond with a big hit of her own. Wind and pitch. Change up. It's a strike on the outside corner at the knees. No balls and 1 strike. Well, that 1-out walk has benefited the B-Diggers. The offering. Swung on, drilled. That is foul. Oh, man, she got all of it, but it's 0-2.
You're ready, Brisa. Let's go.
No balls and 2 strikes.
Guard protect. Let's go.
The B-Diggers looking to extend a 1-0 lead on the RBI single from Hernandez, who is standing at third base. And the offering. Swing and a miss and a changeup. And it's a strikeout of Aguirre Garcia. And again, the B-Diggers have got to be ready for that because they didn't look too good on some of those swings in the first inning. However, the B-Diggers do pick up a run. And Brush picks up that run on a base hit. There was 1 error and a runner left at third base. And we will keep it right here as we head to the second inning. And the B-Diggers leading 1-0. And Mason Unrein will face the following hitters. After the strikeout of Aguirre Garcia, she'll have Dagny West, Haley Haskins, and Karina Lafort. Yeah, they try to move these games along quickly as possible, considering that sometimes you go a little bit long. I think one of those games finished right at noon, so it was 2 hours. Everything else went between an hour 30 and an hour 45 in those 10 a.m. games. So here is Dagny West in the batter's box for Peak to Peak against Mason Unrein. The pitch. That is a rise ball, a little bit high, 1 ball and no strikes. West, a .395 hitter, is a sophomore. Bruno lays down the sign in the offering. That is right down the middle for a strike. Thigh high, 1 ball, 1 strike. 2-out hits are huge in the state tournament. That's what Hernandez just did. The offering, fouled straight back. 1-2. And this second inning is brought to you by Stubbs Gas and Oil. One-stop shopping does exist. Get your food, travel accessories off I-76 and exit 66A in Wiggins. And that bounces to the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes, completely slipped out of Mason's hand. 1-0 Brush in the top of the second inning. And the offering. Swung on and lifted down the right field line. Long run, but Aguirre Garcia, the second baseman in shallow right, makes the catch right on the line. There's 1 down. Talk about covering some ground. Lefebvre came in charging, and Brisa, an excellent athlete, made the play. 1 down for the number 6 hitter, Haley Haskins. Another right-handed hitter. See no lefty so far for Peak to Peak. The offering. Swag and a miss on the inside corner. Haskins, a freshman, but hitting .373 again. They're hitting .339 as a team. Unrein delivers, and that is a little bit low. Count levels at 1-1 strike. Start time of this game was at 12:15 when it was supposed to start. And the offering. Swing and a miss and a rise ball. Let her high. It's 1-2. And Mason Unrein looking like she's done this for years at the state tournament. 1-2 strikes. She's got 1 strikeout so far. Swung on in line towards center field, and now going back and making the catch is Carly Tatalini. Came in, and then that ball started to drift a little bit, but she was able to adjust and make the play, and there's 2 down. Yeah, this is as solid a Brush outfield as we've ever seen in the history of the program. I mean, they cover a lot of ground, and they make the plays. Here is the opposing pitcher, Karina Lafort, batting .276 as a freshman. Yeah, this peak-to-peak team is going to be very good for a few years. The offering. Swing and a miss and a rise ball. No balls and 1 strike from Mason Unrein. Looking in for the sign. She fires, and that's down and in. Count levels at 1-1 strike. 2 down and the bases empty. Top of the second inning. The Bay Diggers have an RBI single from Alicia Hernandez for the 1-0 lead. The pitch. Down and in again. It's a full day of sports right here on 1010 KSIR. We'll have the quarterfinals of the Bay Diggers win this game against either the Academy or Lamar. Tyler Carmen and I will be at Larry Mills Field tonight at 7 o'clock. Brush and University for the league title. That's up and away, 3-1. On deck is the 8-hitter, Kayla Corain. Three and 1 to Lafort. The pitch, swing and a miss. Tremendous pitch on the inside corner. It jammed the right-handed hitter. 3-2. Unrein looking for a 1-2-3 frame. And she delivers. Swung on and fouled off to the right, well out of play. 4 games are going on right now in 3A. 4 and 4A, 4 and 5A. We had 12 games at 10 a.m. 12 more here at 12:15, and then you cut those games in half coming up at 2:30. 3-2 pitch. Very high. Second walk issued by Unrein, but both walks have come with 2 down and the bases empty. And here's Corain. Just a 125 hitter. And looks like we're going to have a courtesy runner at first for the pitcher, Lafort. And let's see if we get a number out there. Still waiting for the courtesy runner. And they don't have a deep roster, only about, 11 or 12 players. Either way, stepping in is Kayla Corain. Bruno lays down the sign. And the pitch. That is down the middle for a strike on the inner half. At the knees, no balls and 1 strike. Yeah, still don't have the name on that runner at first. Can't spot the number. And the 0-1. Very high. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 with 2 down and 1 on. Courtesy runner is Evelyn DeMurray. The pitch. Swag and a miss. Threw it right by her on the outer half. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the number 8 hitter for Peak to Peak. Unrein toes the rubber. And the offering. Swing and a miss on a pitch on the inside corner. No runs, no hits, no errors, and for the second straight inning, a runner left on base. 1 1/2 innings are complete. It is Brush 1, Peak to Peak nothing. You are listening to the 2022 Class 3A State Softball Tournament from Aurora on 1010 KSIR and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. I'm John Beltran as we head to the bottom of the second inning from Aurora. Beat Diggers lead the Peak to Peak Pumas 1-0 in the opening round of this 3A state softball tournament. The pitch swung on and drilled down the left field line off the end of the bat for a base hit. Lefevre rounds first. She'll hold up right there. Again, she was slightly fooled on the changeup, but kept the hands back enough to deposit it into left field. The Beat Diggers have come through with their second hit. And here is Keely Langford stepping in. Langford had a tremendous offensive season as well. The pitch, squaring to bunt, lays it down foul along the first base side. Langford hitting .545 going into state tournament play. The Beat Diggers scored their run on an RBI single from Alicia Hernandez, plating Braylon Rule, who was issued a one-out walk. 3 walks issued in this game, 2 by Unrein, and 1 here by Karina Lafort. And the 0-1, and that is taken a little bit low on the changeup. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lafort's only a freshman pitcher, but she's got a lot of poise. Swing and a miss and a rise ball away. 1-2. Yeah, she tries to kill you with location and with change of pace. 1-2 to Langford. On deck is Mason Unrein. The pitch. Change up right there, called strike 3 on the inside corner. A perfect pitch. Langford strikes out, and there's 1 down. And for Lafort, that's her second strikeout. Mason Unrein awaits. Swing and a miss and a pitch on the outer half. It's 0-1. Unrein comes in with a .300 average. Beat Diggers had a period there that they weren't hitting the ball well against very good pitching. Fouled. Again, a changeup off the end of the bat. She's going to keep throwing those changeup as long as the Beat Diggers are swinging early. No balls, 2 strikes. 1 on, 1 out, bottom 2. Brush leads Peak to Peak 1-0 in the opening round of the 3A state tournament. And the offering swung on and popped up. The shortstop looking out and making the play as it was put away by Dagny West. 2 down. And here's Amaya Bruno. Let's see the Beat Diggers adjust once they get to the second rotation in this lineup. They've had really 1 hard hit ball, and that was the base hit by Hernandez. The offering swung on. That's hit hard into right center field to her left, and lunging and making an incredible catch is Karain. Oh, that is 3 defensive plays that Peak to Peak has made in the first 2 innings, robbing Bruno of a base hit. That was in the gap, but she dove to her left, and the Beat Diggers are denied in the second inning. No runs on 1 hit, no errors and 1 left. We head to the third in the 3A state tournament. It's Brush 1, Peak to Peak nothing on 1010 KSIR and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. And the first pitch rolls to the backstop. Mason Unrein has thrown 2 scoreless innings, but has walked a couple and has struck out 2. The Beat Diggers lead Peak to Peak 1-0 in the top of the third. This is a 15 seed against a second seed Brush. 9-1-2. Haley Weintraub awaits the pitch. Swing and a miss. That's a solid pitch, belt high. And the count levels at 1-1. And Weintraub only hitting .097. And the offering fouled off to the right. No balls and 2 strikes. Check it, 1-2 to Weintraub. Yeah, the Beat Diggers are going to have a much better approach the second time around. Hernandez and Bruno had very good at-bats. And the offering up and away with a rise ball. 2-2. And sometimes this first game's the hardest to win because even though the competition gets better, you have the early jitters. The pitch swung on and fisted and caught by the pitcher, Mason Unrein. It wasn't hit hard, but she backhanded it in midair and made the catch. 1 down. back to the top of the order. And Maggie Wallace, who's already made a tremendous defensive play behind the plate, but struck out her first time up despite a .552 average. Open stance, right-handed hitter. The pitch, swing and a miss and a rise ball. That was letter high, perhaps higher than that. No balls and one strike. Third inning today is brought to you by Better Electric, covering all electric work. The pitch, inside. 970-521-1030 from residential to commercial to agricultural. Better does matter. Better Electric. 1 ball and 1 strike. Unrein delivers. The changeup barely gets to the plate. Actually, it fell short of the plate. 2-1. And Unrein doesn't throw the changeup as much as Karina Lafort. And the offering swung on, fisted foul. Not a play off to the right. Watch out over there in the on-deck circle where Sydney Cusack is standing. 2-2. Yeah, what's keeping Peak to Peak in this game is solid pitching and some very good defensive play so far. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out and the bases empty. The pitch. And I don't know what happened there, but that sailed very high and away to the screen. Maybe it got stuck in her hand. 3-2, 27 strikes, 19 balls for Unrein so far. 3-2. And the offering, and that bounces all the way to the backstop. It's a walk. And rounding first is Wallace off the walk, but Bruno got to that softball very quickly. Yeah, Mason is not on her A game like she was in Eaton. And that was a couple of weeks ago today. In that game, she had no walks and gave up 4 hits, and that was it. No hits allowed, but she's walked 3. And the pitch to Cusack. Swing and a miss, which would have been ball 1. That was above the zone. Cusack popped a short her first time up. And again, I'm surprised. You've just walked a hitter. Normally you allow the next pitch to go by, but, you know, that's not a matter of the hitter as much as it is what the coach decides that the hitter's going to do. The offering, up and away, runner going to second. Bruno has it stuck in her glove. The throw's going to be late. It's a stolen base. It was a good throw, but once you can't get the ball out of your glove, you have no shot. Stolen base for Wallace. In scoring position for the game-tying run. And 1 ball and 1 strike to Cusack. 1-0 Brush in the top of the 3rd inning. The pitch, and that's down and in. Ball 2, strike 1. Leah Laguerre is on deck. Now Peak to Peak, a 22nd seed, upset the 11 seed Wiley. Then they got reseeded to number 15. The offering, very high. 3-1. Three balls and 1 strike. And the pitch, swinging a foul to the backstop. 3-2 to Sydney Cusack. Yeah, if the Bee Diggers can build a lead, that might calm Mason down a little bit. You know, more than a 1-0 advantage. Runner at second, 1 out. 3-2. Very high. It's another walk. 4th walk issued by Unrein. Here's Leah Laguerre. She walked her first time up. First and second. That's 4 base runners, but no base hits so far for Peak to Peak. The Bee Diggers have a couple of hits. One from Hernandez, the other from Lefevre. Squaring to bunt, and now takes a pitch that's below the knees. 1 ball and no strikes. At second is Wallace, Cusack at first. And the offering. And that swung on and grounded into left field off the glove of Rule for a base hit. Rounding third is Wallace. She'll score. And the game is tied at 1. And the second is Sydney Cusack. Give Laguerre the RBI. That'll bring up Elena Carpenter. Carpenter popped to right in her first plate appearance. With the runners at first and second. Yeah, at some point you just can't continue to walk it. Her scoring a bunt, and she takes a pitch for a strike on the inside corner at the knees. No balls and one strike, but the Bee Diggers will be sending up the top of the order in the bottom of the third, hopefully still at 1-1, as Peak to Peak still is threatening with one out. The pitch, swinging a foul off the end of the bat to the backstop. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Walk, and a base hit. 3 batters in a row have reached for the Pumas. Let's see if Unrein goes with a rise ball. 0-2. Swinging a foul off of Bruno. That pitch was down the middle. Had some mustard on it. Remains at no balls and 2 strikes. Bruno again puts down the sign. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Threw it right by Carpenter. Runner takes third. Oh no, did she foul off? I guess she must have got a piece of it. Yeah, must have got a piece of it. Runner back to second. Still 0-2. And the offering. Up and away. I didn't even see the ball hit the ground, but it must have. That's a reprieve there for Alina Carpenter. Mason Unrein with 2 strikeouts, but has issued 4 walks. 2 in this inning. And the 1-2. Fisted foul, not a play off to the right. I mean, when you look at it, Brush has everything to lose in this game. They're the higher seed. They have 20 wins. Peak to Peak with 11 wins and 11 losses. That's why Brush has just got to get into this game a little bit more and stretch out a lead, but it's tied at 1 right now. And the offering. Swung on and lifted into shallow left center field. The shortstop, Braylon Rule, makes the catch. A step into the grass, 2 down. Good pitch there by Mason Unrein. Here is Dagny West, who popped to the second baseman, Aguirre Garcia, in her first plate appearance in the second. To the plate. Upstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. It's been a laboring inning for Mason Unrein. 1-0. And the offering. That's right there for a strike on the outer half. It's 1-1. Unrein looking to keep this at a tie game going into the bottom of the third. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 across. The pitch. Swung on and fouled back. Count is at 1-2. To Dagny West. Game was moving along until Unrein with those walks. 65 pitches already. That's way too many. And the 1-2. Swinging a foul straight back. This team is hanging tough. And the Bee Diggers once again will have to adjust once they get to the plate in the bottom of the third with the off-speed pitches thrown by LaForte. The pitch. Swung on, line down the right field line. That's a base hit. Lefevre comes up with it. Runner around third. Throw towards the plate late. And the trail runner to third. It's an RBI single for Dagny West. Scoring Sydney Cusack. It's 2-1 Peak to Peak. Runners at the corners at the top of the third. Still with 2 down. Good throw on a hop, but it was going to be too late. Here's Haley Haskins, who lined to center. Peak to Peak now has matched Brush's total with 2 hits. The offering. That is a strike on the upper half on the outside corner. It's 0-1. At third is Legier, West at first. The offering. Fouled off to the right. Count moves to 0-2 to Haley Haskins. Peak to Peak has come to play. Some timely hits, some great defense so far. The pitch up and away. Ball 1, strike 2. Brush being the higher seed as the home team, and that helps in a close game. Right here in the top of the third. 1-2. Swung on and grounded right back to the circle. The underhand toss to first is there, and Mason Unrein makes the play. However, Peak to Peak has grabbed the lead as the Pumas scored 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. 2.5 complete. It's Peak to Peak 2, Brush 1 on 1010 KSIR and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. 2-1 Peak to Peak. Bottom of the third inning. It'll be the top of the order, Cashlyn Tadolini, who hit that little flare and a diving catch by the catcher Wallace in the bottom of the first inning. Karina Lafort to the plate, and the changeup bounces in. Unrein is just shy of 70 pitches. Lafort just threw her 26. A huge difference there. And the 1-0. That's on the inside corner for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to the senior left fielder, Cashlyn Tadolini. The pitch. Swung on, hit on the ground off the end of the bat. Fielded underhand toss to first for the out. Cusack retires Tadolini. On another changeup. 1 out for Braylon Rule. She walked and scored in the first inning. And that's, you're going to get a heavy dose of changeups from Lafort. We've already seen it. Braylon Rule awaits the pitch. Swung on and grounded foul along the third base side towards the Digger dugout. Home team occupies the third base dugout, the visiting team on the first base side. Winner of this game faces either the Academy or Lamar. Going on right now in a corresponding field, and the game would not be on this field. We'd have to move. A 1 pitch. Swung on and grounded foul again, third base side. Count moves to 0-2. B-Digger blast off coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. Kickoff at 7 o'clock from Larry Mills Field. Brush and University for the league title. As University has Sterling at home next week and Brush has Tinmouth at home, so no way those home teams will lose. 0-2. Swung on and fouled on a pitch down and away. Count remains at 0-2. Carly Tadolini is on deck. Lafort spinning that softball. The pitch. Swung on and grounded slowly to third, foul. Remains at 0-2. When the B-Diggers read that changeup, they'll be able to hit it hard. But it's a good, solid changeup. And it's a very selective one. You never know when Lafort's going to throw it. Another 0-2 pitch. Here it is. Swung on and grounded foul, third base side. Yeah, Braylon Rule has fouled off 5 consecutive pitches. 2-1 Peak to Peak. 1 down, and the base is empty in the bottom of the third inning from Aurora Sports Park. On a gorgeous day. It can't be any better. It's starting to warm up even more. And the pitch. Swung on, line foul off to the left. She's out in front of everything. Going to be tough to get her out. It'll stay at 0-2 to Braylon Rule. The offering. And that hitter on the left shoulder. Braylon Rule with a great plate appearance here. Second time she's on base. Never hurts when you're hit by a changeup. Here's Carly Tadolini. Tadolini hit a chopper back to the circle. See what Carly can do here. A little bit of a shift is being put on by Peak to Peak. Weintraub, the right fielder, playing closer to the line. Lafort delivers. Swung on and hit on the ground to second. Should be a routine play to second for 1, and no play to first. Man, I'm telling you, Braylon Rule gets from first to second quickly, and yet that right-handed flip was an excellent one by Cusack to West, 2 down. Tadolini replaces Brule at first on the 4-6 fielder's choice. I mean, we have seen excellent defense so far by the Pumas. Real good defense. Alicia Hernandez with an RBI single. And the pitch swung on. That is popped up in the infield. The shortstop West to her right makes the catch. And the Bee Diggers are done in the bottom of the third inning. For Brush, no runs on no hits. No errors and 1 left, 3 complete. Peak to peak, 2. Brush 1 on 1010 KSIR and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Swinging a foul in the first pitch of the 4th inning to Karina Lafort. She walked in the 2nd inning. The Pumas lead the Bee Diggers in the opening round of the 3A state tournament 2-1. Nearly midway through. Unrein delivers. Fisted foul and off to the right. 0-2. Mason Unrein threw 3 innings through 71 pitches. Emblematic of how much she has scuffled. Now with 45 strikes and 28 balls, but has walked 4 in the game. 7, 8, 9 for Peak to Peak. Rise ball is upstairs. 1 ball and 2 strikes. This inning brought to you by Rudy's Tires. 9 is the magic number. 9 locations across northeast Colorado, Nebraska. Rudy'sTires.com. Fouled back. Count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes to Karina Lafort, followed by Kayla Corain and Haley Weintraub. Peak to Peak out of Lafayette. The offering up and away. So far, Unrein has picked up a couple of strikeouts. Lafort also has 2. The pitch swung on line, base hit into right center field. Cut off by Lefevre with a bare hand. And it's a leadoff single for Lafort. And Peak to Peak has their 3rd hit. That'll send up Kayla Corain. Not sure if it's Corain or Karani. Kerrane. Well, let's see if she's going to square the bunt here. Just past the top of the hour. It's 3 minutes after 1 o'clock Mountain Time. You are listening to 1010 KSIR. Barrage Fort Morgan, Weldona. And the pitch squaring to bunt and lays it down foul to the backstop on 1 hop. No balls and 1 strike. You don't worry about trailing 2-1 in the 4th inning, but if it's 2-1 in the 6th inning or worse, then you start to worry. Brush is the number 2 seed, Peak to Peak the 15th seed. Playing in at 3rd is Hernandez, squaring to bunt, and that is taken for a strike. She tried to wave at it and missed it completely. 0-2, so it really didn't take it. Let's see if Corain swings away. Oh, close stance. 0-2 with a runner at first, nobody down. The offering. That is a called strike 3 on the inside corner. What a pitch by Mason Unrein, her 3rd strikeout. And there's 1 out in the 4th inning for Haley Weintraub. Haley hitting .097 going into the state tournament. Hit a little fister that was backhanded in the air by Unrein. Squaring to bunt. Strike right down the middle at the knees. It's 0-1. Maggie Wallace waits to hit next. No balls and 1 strike. And the pitch swung on and grounded foul along the first base side. And the count moves to 0-2. The Bee Diggers grabbed a 1-0 lead in the first inning on a run-scoring single by Alicia Hernandez. Peak to Peak, though. Got a couple of RBI singles in the 3rd. We're in the 4th. The pitch swung on and hit it in the air towards center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Play made to 2nd, but that's going to be late as Tatalini came in on the little toss. And the courtesy runner got in there just in time to second base, and DeMurray, second hit of the inning. Here comes Tom Odell. And that's the fourth hit of the game for Peak to Peak. And are we going to have a change? We're going to have some changes. Yes. Mason Unrein is going to be taken out of the circle. And we will take a break in this top of the fourth inning. 2 on, 1 out with the score in the opening round of the 3A state tournament. Peak to Peak 2, Brush 1 on 1010 KSIR and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Mason Unrein did not have it today. She's in right field now. Avery Lefevre has taken over in the circle. Other changes we'll get to, and that pitch is in the dirt. Brisa Aguirre Garcia is behind the plate. Alicia Hernandez moves to second base. Amaya Bruno is now over at third. The pitch, and that is up and in. Count is at 2-0. Lefevre's last outing against Cedar Ridge in the regionals was a rough outing. They won the game, but she struggled to throw strikes. 2-0, and that one's up and in. 3-0 to Maggie Wallace, who has struck out and walked already third time around the order. Here for Peak to Peak, up 2-1 in the fourth inning. Pitch very high, and the bases are loaded. Well, they already pulled off an upset against Wiley in the regionals just to get to this point. And now the Bay Diggers have to play the infield in with 1 out and the bases loaded for Sydney Cusack, who popped out and walked and scored a run. Twirling that softball on the right hip. Lefevre delivers, and that is down and in. 1 ball and no strikes. 5 pitches and 5 out of the zone for Lefevre. Right-handed hitter in Cusack to the plate. That is high. 2-0. Mason Unrein, an established ace, but unfortunately did not have her good stuff today. 4 walks, 4 hits. And the 2-0. Swing and a foul. And again, I don't understand what Peak to Peak is doing there. You have a pitcher who's thrown 6 balls in a row, and you're swinging at the first thing, and that jammed her. Man, let them do you a favor of your brush, without a doubt. Yeah, I don't understand that mentality. 2-1, but the Bay Diggers will take it. See if they can get out of this. The offering, that's a strike right down the middle. Perfect pitch by Lefevre. The count levels at 2-2. Cusack, the number 2 hitter in this lineup. The pitch. Rise ball is way high. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Leah Legier is on deck. Well, something's going to happen here. 3-2. Fouled off to the right. Good pitch on the outer half. Sterling Tigers playing on the field right next to us on 105.7 KPMX and the Eastern Plains Sports Network against Welch Central. We'll try to get a score there. Here it's 2-1, Peak to Peak in the fourth. The pitch. Fouled off of Aguirre Garcia. Challenged her with a heater. Remains at 3-2. Now, what a huge sequence this is for both teams. Another 3-2 pitch. Here it is. That is a called strike 3 at the knees. Throw back to first. Jillick applies the tag. No, didn't get her. The ball was dropped. Looked like the ball didn't have a handle of the ball. She would have been called out at first. Yeah, there's no question that Wallace was going to be rung up, but the ball was not in the glove. 2 down. And what a big pitch thrown by Lefevre. Here's Legier. She's walked and singled in the first run for Peak to Peak. Up there with the bases loaded, 2 down. Avery Lefevre to the plate. Swung on and grounded foul first base side. All of a sudden, Lefevre's all over the strike zone. Good job by Avery. Still not out of the woods yet, so to speak. No balls, one strike. In the top of the fourth inning, 2-1 peak to peak with 2 outs and the bases full of Pumas. The pitch swung on and grounded to the third baseman. Bruno, throw to first, is right there. And the Brush Bee Diggers get out of a major jam. Avery Lefevre with a tremendous job in the inning for Puma. No runs for the peak-to-peak Pumas. 2 hits, no errors, and the bases left loaded. 3.5 complete. It is peak-to-peak 2, Brush 1 on 1010 KSIR and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Peak-to-peak was 1 pitch away from grabbing a 3-1 lead, but Lefevre came back to strike out the second-to-last hitter, then a grounder to third. Retired Cusack. Here's Brisa Aguirre Garcia, 2-1 peak-to-peak. Bottom of the fourth inning, the pitch, and the changeup is upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Sterling is on their way to Downing Weld Central. It's an 8-1 lead for Sterling in that game on KPMX and KPMX.com. The pitch swung on and lifted into shallow left field. Could be a tough play, and the ball's going to drop for a base hit right in front of Haskins. And the Bee Diggers have their third hit on that blooper to left. That'll bring up Avery Lefevre, who singled her first time up. We'll have a courtesy runner. That'll be Reese Lambert for Brush. Yeah, now you've got to answer. You've got to build upon what you just did in the top of the fourth when you had to use 2 pitchers and retire peak-to-peak in the top of the fifth after scoring some runs here. Lefevre awaits the pitch here from Lafort. And here it is. Upstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. Again, second time around.
All right, John Beltran back with you. Lost the connection completely, but it's 2 on and 2 out. Bottom of the fourth inning. We just had a pop out. 2-1 peak to peak. That's a strike to Amaya Bruno. We'll recap the inning momentarily as Mason Unrein just popped out. 2-1 peak to peak. Swung on and grounded left side. Should be a routine play. And tagging the runner going by for the out. And that'll do it. Here in the bottom of the fourth inning. On that fielder's choice hit by Amaya Bruno. That's going to go 5 unassisted. As the Bee Diggers trail 2-1. Headed to the top of the fifth inning. We'll keep it right here. Yeah, this happened to us 1 year ago. For some reason, boom, just bumped right off. It'll be Elena Carpenter, Dagny West, and Haley Haskins. And they will be batting here for peak to peak. And I believe we've reestablished a connection. I will work on that right now. Let's see, I believe we have reestablished our signal, which was lost. As Sterling has an 8-1 lead on the corresponding field. All right, so we'll get back to... Yeah, we'll get back to our normal alignment that we had earlier. As we'll send it here to the fifth inning. Fifth inning for Carpenter. And the pitch from Lefevre is low. One ball and no strikes. Two and 0. 2-0 from Lefevre to Carpenter. 2-1, peak to peak. Top of the fifth inning. The pitch swung on and lifted foul off to the right. Two balls, one strike. To the plate, swung on and fouled. Count is at 2-2. The pitch, up and in. Three and two to the opening hit of the top of the fifth inning. Peak to peak leads 2-1. The offering swung on and fisted in the air right side. Second baseman Hernandez can't make the catch off the bottom of the glove. I'm not sure what she was waiting for, but then got a late break on the ball. That's going to be scored an error. That will be an error. And the first hitter reaches. Boy, that's too bad there. Here's Dagny West, the pitch. Upstairs. E4 on what should have been a routine pop-up. Dagny West is 1 for 2. Awaiting the pitch, here it is. And that bounces in. Throw back to first, and it skips away, but nice block by Gillick. And the 2-0 pitch inside. Rio is right down the middle. It's 3-1. 3 balls and 1 strike. Yeah, during a break, he'll reestablish our original connection, which I think we've got again. That pitch is upstairs. It's a walk. First and second with nobody out. Here's Haley Haskins. Lined out and grounded out. And the offering. Scoring to bunt, lays it down foul to the screen. 0-1. And the offering, squaring to bunt again, up and in. Well, the B-Diggers, even if they get out of this, they've got to hit the ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2-1, peak to peak, top of the fifth inning. With nobody out, the pitch squaring to bunt and takes it for a strike. Wow. Well, that looked down and away. I think Brush got a break. 1-2. To Haley Haskins, the number 6 hitter. Lefevre to the plate. That is, how is that not a strike? How is that not a strike? Wow. That is crazy. 2-2 here. 2 balls and 2 strikes with the runners at first and second. Nobody out. 2-1, peak to peak, top of the fifth, the pitch. Up and away. Now we're at 3-2. Yeah, we'll take a short break right after this hitter and get you back. And that's in the dirt. It's a walk, and the bases are loaded. And here comes Tom Odell with nobody out. And Coach Odell with a visit. And Braylon Rule is in the circle. Wow.
Okay, we're back with you. We'll get rid of that dial tone there. We are back with you here. Thank you to Christy Creighton for taking care of us back in studio. As we reestablish our signal, it is 2-1. Braylon Rule is now the third pitcher for Brush. Peak to peak is in the lead with the bases loaded. And B-Digger pitching here has fallen apart, but they're still in this game. They're only down by a run, as the number 2 seed is trailing the 15 seed. And that'll shift the defense quite a bit. Yeah, Avery Lefevre will now be in left. Carly Tatalini at shortstop. And Mason Unrein still in right. The pitch, very high, 1 ball and no strikes. to Karina Lafort. Walked and singled. Yeah, that would move Cashland into center. Let's see if they've shifted even more personnel. Yeah, that doesn't look like they've got that going. And now Tom Odell's out again. So here's the situation. In this inning, the bases have been loaded here with nobody out. The first three hitters reached against Lefevre. Braylon Rule's the second pitcher of the inning and the third of the game. And it's 1 ball and no strikes. Tom Odell out to talk to his pitcher. Yeah, it was a very awkward delivery on the first pitch. And now the umpire's out there, I guess, checking with the release point, because that almost looked like almost had a sidearm fling to it instead of a complete underhand delivery. And maybe that's what they're questioning. But the Beediggers have had to shift players all over the place defensively because of the changes. So in the outfield again, Lefevre and Tattolini there. Yeah, we are back with you. One ball and no strikes. That pitch was inside. It's 2-0. Braylon Rule looking in, 2-1, peak to peak in the fifth inning. The offering, and that one bounces away. Here comes a runner to the plate, sliding in safely. The run scores. The other runners do not advance, so it's 3-1. Yeah, without pitching, it's going to be tough. 3-1, and it's 3-0 on the hitter. And let's see, here comes Tom Odell. And are they going to put Mason Unrein back in the circle? Yeah, because Braylon doesn't look in rhythm there. And I think that's what's going to happen. Well, let's take another brief break. In the top of the fifth inning, Peak to Peak leads Brush 3-1 with nobody out and 2 on 1010 KSIR and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Mason Unrein back in there on the first pitch there to Karina Lafort. Grounded out to short, and Braylon Rule through to third for the force out. 1 down. And that pitch is bunted foul. Wow, that is crazy. Why did they swing at a 3-0? And Kayla Corraine, that is insane. They're just giving the Beediggers breaks there. So that's a 5-6 fielder, 6-5 fielder's choice. I do not understand that whatsoever. That was a 3-0 pitch. The pitch, swing and a miss. Maybe Unrein will get back in rhythm to Kayla Corraine. So it was first and second, a 3-0 count to Lafort. New pitcher, she swung at the first pitch and grounded to short, and the force was at third. First and second again, 1 out, the offering. Swing and a miss, and Unrein strikes out. Corraine 2 down. I mean, Peak to Peak is doing everything possible strategically to keep Brush in the game. There is no reason to swing at a 3-0 pitch up 3-1 with first and second, nobody out. Now it's first and second and 2 down. Haley Weintraub lined out and singled, 1 for 2. The offering, and that is on the outside corner for a strike, and Mason Unrein looking to settle back in. The Beediggers now on their 4th pitcher, Unrein, in the circle twice now. And the offering, swinging a foul to the backstop. No balls and 2 strikes. Apologize for losing you there. The internet completely went out here for a span of a couple of minutes. 0-2 to Weintraub, the number 9 hitter. The pitch, up and away, 1 ball and 2 strikes. I mean, as bad as it's been for Brush, they could go into the bottom of the 5th inning down by only 2. The offering, fouled as it was tapped to the left side. This inning began with an error by the second baseman Hernandez on a routine pop-up. And again, at this level, that's a play that should have been made easily. The pitch, way outside. Still struggling with a release point is Unrein. Even though she looked good at the previous two hitters. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Maggie Wallace waits to hit next. The pitch swung on and fisted up the middle. That's going to be a base hit into center field. Haskins is around third. She'll hold up right there. Perfect throw to the plate. Was delivered by Carly Tatalini, who's back in center. Weintraub, an 0.97 hitter coming into the game, is 2 for 3. And the bases are reloaded here for Maggie Wallace. That is hit number 5 for Peak to Peak. They've stranded 7 already. If they leave these base runners where they are, that's 10 through 5 innings. A strikeout, a walk, and a walk for Wallace. And time is called. A stunning result so far in Aurora, but the Beat Diggers have 9 outs to play with. Trailing 3-1 in the top of the 5th inning. The pitch, that is down and in. Didn't miss by much. 1 ball and no strikes. Cusack waits to hit next. And the offering. Swung on and fisted into right center field. Long run for Lefevre. She won't get there. That's going to score 1 run. Second runner around third will score. And Weintraub to third. It's a 2-run double for Maggie Wallace. Peak to Peak leads Brush 5-1. And that ball was tagged into the right center field gap. And here is Sydney Cusack, who has popped out, walked, and struck out. It's who's hot, and right now Peak to Peak is hot. A big 2-out hit. The pitch swung on and grounded left side. The shortstop Rule fires to first for the out and gets a speedy Cusack, but the damage is done in the top of the 5th inning. 3 runs on 2 hits, a huge Beat Digger error, and 2 left. 4 1/2 innings are in the books. It's Peak to Peak 5, Brush 1 on 1010 KSIR and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Back to the top of the order for the Beat Diggers, trailing Peak to Peak 5-1 in the bottom of the 5th inning. It is Cashlyn Tatalini, followed by Braylon Rule and Carly Tatalini. Cashlyn is 0 for 2. Popped to the catcher and grounded out to second. Peak to Peak has played very good defense today. That one is popped up, foul territory, and it is caught by the catcher Tatalini along the third base side. Or Wallace, I should say. Tatalini retired, 1 down. Nice play by Wallace. She's a very athletic catcher. Again, throwing a changeup and getting underneath it. Here's Braylon Rule, the only Beat Digger to reach base twice. I think Lefevre as well. The pitch. Rise ball is upstairs. A walk and a hit by pitch. The Beat Diggers at 20-3 going in, but that record means nothing right now. Trailing 5-1. Swung on and lifted into shallow left center field. Coming on to her left, and the ball is off the glove of Haskins. Ruled to second. She's in there with a 1-out base hit. Well, that almost was caught out there, but we'll give her a double as Haskins was on the dead run. Beat Diggers needed that one badly on a play that could have been made. Their 4th hit, Peak to Peak, got 6. Carly Tatalini is grounded to the circle and then grounded to second. Legier, the first baseman, is playing in. The pitch and the changeup is a strike on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike. Followed by Alicia Hernandez. Tatalini digs in from the left side. The offering. That's upstairs, and the count levels at 1-1. The Beat Diggers have been all balanced for a good portion of this game. Their lone run was scored in the 1st inning on an RBI single from Alicia Hernandez. Peak to Peak, 5 unanswered. The pitch. Swung on, grounded right side. Second baseman on a tough hop, but makes the play. Oh, man, staying with that one was Cusack. That took a high hop at the last second, and she stayed with the ball and threw out Tatalini, ruled to third. 2 outs. I mean, their defense has been almost impeccable. Hernandez singled and popped to short. 1 for 2 in the game.
Okay, let's go, Alicia.
The pitch. Very high. What a play by Wallace. That could have easily gone to the backstop. Now, there's probably about, 15 feet between the catcher and the backstop, so not easy to score in a wild pitch. Got to get Rule across. 1-0. Changeup is in the dirt. 2 balls and no strikes. 5 runs on 6 hits for Peak to Peak. 1 error. They've left 9. 1 run, 4 hits. 1 error for the Bee Diggers. They have stranded 5. 2-0. The offering. Outside. 3 balls and no strikes and a huge hitter. A very big, strong hitter. Brisa Aguirre Garcia waits to hit next. 3-0 to Hernandez. The pitch. Down the middle for a strike. Just above the knees, it's 3-1. The Bee Diggers looking to rally from a 4-run deficit in the opening round of the 3A state tournament. 3-1, and that's up and in. It's a walk. Well, can Brisa deliver? This is the hitter that you want up there. The team leader with 35 RBIs is a sophomore. In this game, Brisa has struck out and singled. I mean, this is the hitter that you really want up there. This is a hitter that can deliver. Lafort, the right-hander, looks in. The pitch swung on and popped up into shallow center, and that catch is going to be made out there for the 3rd and final out by Kayla Corain, and the Bee Diggers strand 2 more. We head to the 6th inning. Peak to Peak is looking for a huge upset in the first round of the 3A state tournament as they lead Brush 5-1 on 1010 KSIR and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Let's head to the 6th inning. Mason Unrein delivers the pitch, swung on, grounded to first. Olivia Gillick makes the play, and Leah Laguerre is retired. 1 for 3, 1 out. She walks singled and now grounds out twice. Does the first baseman for Peak to Peak. Want to get a quick inning here. Then get back to the dugout and rally, trailing 5-1. Here's Alina Carpenter, who's popped out twice and reached on an air. The pitch swung on. That ball's grounded foul along the third base side. That was a huge, huge plate appearance to lead off the 5th inning. Carpenter hit a little fly ball, and for some reason Hernandez just couldn't settle under it. Had plenty of time, then ranged in and hit the bottom of her glove, and that started the rally, resulting in 3 runs. The pitch. Changeup is lifted right side. Hernandez to her left. Cannot make the play. It's a base hit along the right field line. An excellent pitch thrown by Unrein, but Carpenter got enough to send it inside the right field line. And for Peak to Peak, they've got 7 hits in the game. 1 on, 1 out now for Dagny West. Is it going to be Peak to Peak's day? West has popped out, singled and walked on base the last 2 times. Unrein delivers. That is down and away with a heater. 1 ball and no strikes. Unrein was in the circle to begin the game, replaced by Lefevre, then replaced by Rule, who didn't last too long. Unrein has thrown over 100 pitches. The offering, that is upstairs. It's 2-0. And this Peak to Peak team is going to be very, very good, as I mentioned earlier, for a few years. Only 2 starters are seniors, and they're sporting a freshman pitcher. That is a strike at the knees on the inner half. 2 balls and 1 strike. More softballs coming up more than likely on 105.7 KPMX. Sterling at last check leading Weld Central 8-1. We hope to have more softball here. Pitches in the dirt, but Brush has got to rally from a 5-1 deficit, 1 out, 1 on in the top of the 6th inning. And Peak to Peak has had base runners all over the place. The pitch, that is a strike. Down the middle, it's 3-2. Haley Haskins waits to hit next. Looking in. with a runner at first. The Offering fouled off to the right. 3 balls and 2 strikes. We'll check out some early results today from the state tournament. Unrein to the plate. Low. It's a walk. And that's the other issue for Brush today. Unrein, before being replaced the first time, walked 4. That's her 5th walk. Lefevre with 3. Braylon Rule just didn't last at all. Haley Haskins is lined to center, grounded to the circle, and walked. 0 for 2 in the game. First and second with 1 out in the 6th inning. The Offering. Low. Runner to third. The throw, the slide, and she's going to be safe. Amaya Bruno got caught off guard. She wasn't there, and then tried to make a backhanded tag. And the stolen base for Carpenter. Yeah, that definitely surprised her. It didn't surprise Aguirre Garcia. She threw a laser down there. 1 ball and no strikes. The infield has to play in now. No other option. Squaring to bunt, lays it down third base side. Tough play, the throw to the plate, and the tag is made by Aguirre Garcia. Nice play by Bruno, and the fielder's choice is going to go 5-2, 2 down. Runners at first and second. That's a big, big play just to cut down another run. But again, the inning is not over here. As the hitter is now Karina Lafort. She's been a headache, a walk, a single, and a fielder's choice. Swung on line, base hit into center field. Let's see if West is going to score. The throw to second is going to be late. That's a nice aggressive play out there by Tatalini, going for the force because the ball was hit hard. But Haskins got to second base. Bases loaded here for Kayla Corain. You don't get her out. The chances of rallying to win the game are going to be really tough. You've scored 1 run in this game and none from innings 2 through 5. We're in the top of the 6th inning. But this hitter has struck out all 3 times. That helps Brush a lot. Just throw it in the strike zone. The pitch. That is a strike on the inside corner. No balls and 1 strike. At third is West. Haskins at second. Courtesy runner DeMurray is at first. The Pumas lead by 4 runs in this game. The pitch. Swung on and chopped over the circle to the shortstop. Rule. Great play. Steps on the bag for the force. Oh, man, that's a big play there by Braylon Rule. She doesn't get to that softball. It's going to be a 2-run single. But the force play is made at second, and Peak to Peak has left the bases loaded in the top of the 6th inning. Let's head to the bottom of the 6th. It's Peak to Peak 5, Brush 1 in the opening round of the 3A state tournament on 1010 KSIR and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. The Bee Diggers need to score at least 4 runs to salvage their season and continue it, and the changeup is a beauty to Avery Lefevre, who is singled and grounded into a fielder's choice. No balls and 1 strike. Peak to Peak 5, Brush 1. The pitch. Swung on, grounded off the end of the bat to the first baseman. Laguerre will tag the runner going by for the out. And keep in mind that Karina Lafort has retired the Bee Diggers on just 61 pitches. That is 16 outs and 61 pitches. That is efficient. And Delaney Draggart will now be the hitter. Mason Unrein is on deck. This would be a huge upset, but you know what? Peak to Peak has played terrific. Their defense has been well above par. Not only good, but they've made solid plays. And Lafort, a freshman pitcher, has changed locations and pace very well. And that pitch is in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. To Delaney Draggart. The Bee Diggers had aspirations of reaching the state finals as a 2 seed. Now they're just trying to get to the next game. Draggart lines it into left for a base hit. Delaney Draggart took a pitch up in the zone and raked it into left field. Could that be a rally starter for Brush? Mason Unrein has popped out twice. But you need consecutive hitters on base. That's the one thing the Bee Diggers have struggled with. In the 3A state tournament so far, the pitch swung on and grounded left side. Good play by the third baseman. Throw to first. Unrein is out to second. Is Draggart as Alina Carpenter again. A nice solid play on that sharp grounder. Retires Unrein, who is now 0 for 3. 2 down for Amaya Bruno. Bruno lined out and grounded into a fielder's choice. Bruno's had 2 pretty good at-bats. Out of the 9-hole, let's see if she can drive in Brush's second run. The offering. That's a strike on the inner half. No balls and 1 strike. Thomas Jefferson, the A seed, beat the 9-seed Lyman, eliminated them 11-3. Top seed Strasburg over number 16 Lions, 8-0. Fort Lupton, the 5th seed, down to 12th seed Delta, 7-2. Grounded left side. Carpenter's got it. Third baseman fires to first, and Amaya Bruno is out number 3. For the Bee Diggers, no runs on 1 hit, no errors and 1 left. We head to the 7th in the opening round of the 3A state tournament. Peak to Peak 5, Brush 1 on 1010 KSIR and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. John Beltran back with you from Aurora Sports Park as we head to the top of the 7th inning. And the first pitch to Haley Weintraub is swung on and fouled at the plate. 5-1 Peak to Peak. Looking for the big upset. The pitch. That is on the outside corner for a strike. I mean, this is the type of day Peak to Peak is having. Haley Weintraub, an 097 hitter, going into today, has lined out and singled twice. And the pitch swung on. That's lifted towards shallow center field. That's a base hit. Holy Mahungus. 3 hits for Weintraub. And Peak to Peak now has 9 in the game. And keep in mind that even though Brush has stranded 8 base runners, Peak to Peak has left 12 on base. They've had traffic all day. Maggie Wallace struck out, walked twice, and a 2-run double. The pitch, strike down the middle from Mason Unrein. It looks a lot better now than she did in the early going. She was taken out with Brush trailing 2-1. It's now 5-1. And the offering swung on and lifted down the right field line. Lefevre to her left is going to make the running catch. Nice defensive play along the line for Lefevre. 1 out. Bee Digger defense has been pretty good. They had that one significant miscue, but it's not about the defense in this game. They just cannot hit Karina Lafort consistently. Sydney Cusack is 0 for 3. Up and away with a heater, 1 ball and no strikes. No 10-10 preps and more today, normally airing from 1 to 2. As we're coming up near the top of the hour. And the pitch, swag and a miss. On a heater on the inside corner, the count levels at 1-1. Unrein has thrown just shy of 120 pitches. Has labored, but she's certainly come back and fought. And the offering swung on and grounded left side. It's a base hit beyond the lunging Amaya Bruno. First hit of the game for Cusack, 1 for 4. Here's Leah Laguerre. So Peak to Peak has 2 hits in the inning, 10 in the game. Laguerre's got a base hit. She walked, singled, grounded to short, and then a bouncer to first. The offering swung on and popped foul off to the right. No balls and 1 strike. Again, Peak to Peak going into today's game, 11-11. Their signature win was probably last week over Wiley. The offering swung on, grounded right side, and it's off the glove of Hernandez, and she'll throw to first late, and the bases are loaded. That'll be her second error of the game on a routine hop. And here is Alina Carpenter. She has popped out twice, reached on the air that started that rally 2 innings ago, and C-singled. The infield is playing in for Brush. Pitch by Unrein. Swing and a foul at the plate. Yeah, you're already down 5-1 and have not scored since the first inning, so this is critical. University just survived as the 3 seed, beating the 14 seed Resurrection Christian 1-0. Looks like we're setting up for a University Sterling matchup. And the offering swung on and lined foul down the third base side. No balls and 2 strikes. You need a pop-up in the infield or a strikeout, and Mason Unrein has struck out 3 in the game. Lefevre had 1. At third is Weintraub. Husak at second. Laguerre at first. 1 out, 5-1, top 7. The pitch, very high. Stabbed out of the air by Brisa Aguirre Garcia. Anytime you have to make this many adjustments and those many changes, I should say, you know you're in trouble. And I'm talking about defensively, because that means that you've had pitching mishaps or perhaps defensive mishaps, of which they have had some of both in this game. It'll be a 1-2 pitch. Here it is. That is a called strike 3, and Carpenter knew it on the outside corner. Beautiful pitch by Mason Unrein. 2 down. A big out. 2:01 Mountain Time. This is 1010 KSIR. Brush, Fort Morgan, Snyder. Also at KSIR.com on the TuneIn app. And that is off the glove of Aguirre Garcia. Runner will not advance from third. 1 ball and no strikes to Dagny West, who popped out and has been on base the last 3 times with a single and 2 walks. Bee Diggers were up 1-0 after 1. Peak to Peak with 2 runs in the third and 3 in the 5th inning. The pitch. Down the middle for a strike. Belt high. It's 1-1. You need this hitter. Goes without saying. And the offering. Swung on, lined, and caught by the shortstop, Braylon Rule. Hit very sharply, but Braylon Rule was standing in the perfect spot to make the play. No runs on 2 hits. 1 error, and the bases were left loaded. Peak to Peak has stranded 15 base runners. However, they are 3 outs away from pulling a shocker in Aurora with a score. Peak to Peak 5, Brush 1 on 1010 KSIR and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Top of the order for the Bee Diggers, trailing Peak to Peak 5-1. Bottom of the 7th inning. Here's Cashlin Tatalini. The pitch, squaring to bunt, lays it down foul along the third base side. Cashlin popped to the catcher twice, both in foul territory. First base side in the first, later on the third base side, and grounded to second in between those 2 plate appearances. 0 for 3. Squaring to bunt again. She's got lots of speed, and she calls time. Karina Lafort, 66 pitches to record 18 outs. Now it's 67 after that first pitch. Squaring to bunt. The offering. Squares to bunt. It's outside. And this is only a freshman. Man. 1 ball and 1 strike to Cashlin Tatalini. The Bee Diggers have 1 loss in the last month and a half. The pitch. Squaring to bunt. Lays it down third base side. Carpenter to first for the out. She ranged in and threw a bullet to first. And not only did she throw to first, but Laguerre was in, and the second baseman Cusack was covering. That goes 5-2. 1 down. 5-4, excuse me. 5-4. And here is Braylon Rule. Been on base all 3 times. A walk, hit by pitch, and a double. The offering. Swung on and grounded left side. It's off of Carpenter into shallow left field. Braylon Rule's going to reach on the miscue. That gives the Bee Diggers a little bit of life. That is the second error committed by Peak to Peak. Need a lot more base runners. Here's Carly Tatalini. who is grounded to the circle and twice to second. She's 0 for 3. Braylon Rule's been the only consistent bead digger at the plate. The pitch. Changeup is a strike on the inner half. No balls and 1 strike. Laforte has been lethal with the off-speed. The bead diggers are down to their final 2 outs. And the pitch. Swung on, driven, foul. Hit a mile foul. Down the right side, it's 0-2. Again, Brush football is coming up tonight for the league title against University at Larry Mills Field at Bead Digger Stadium. 6 o'clock Bead Digger blast-off, 7 o'clock kickoff. Don't miss that. I'll be there with Tyler Carmen. Support those Bead Diggers. The pitch. That is just outside, man. That missed by a hair, by a whisker. Laforte thought she had strike 3, but it just missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Runner at first, 1 out, bottom of the 7th inning, 5-1 peak to peak. The pitch in the dirt, skips away on the wild pitch, ruled to second. And she'll hold up right there. Two balls and 2 strikes. You get another base runner on, then you make things interesting because the tying run would be in the on-deck circle. 2-2 to Carly Tatalini. Left-handed hitting senior. Laforte delivers in the dirt. 3-2. Brush is not done yet. Winner of this game faces either the Academy or Lamar. Still playing on a corresponding field. 3-2 pitch. Swung on line foul off to the right. Tatalini with some nice swings during this sequence. Stays at 3-2, and a big crowd has gathered in, sensing that we could be seeing one of the biggest upsets in tournament history. I mean, for a 2 to go down in the first round is something that you rarely have ever see. The pitch in the dirt with a changeup, gets away, ruled to third, and now first and third off the walk. Here's Alicia Hernandez. Hernandez has singled, popped out, and walked. And now we're going to have a visit to the circle. The first hitter was retired, but 2 have reached for Brush. And actually, I don't know if that was a Sterling Welch Central game over there, trying to get updates. Let's see, Gerald is here. What do we got?
You got one listener out there, John.
Here we go at first and third. Yeah, I think Sterling was playing on another field. Yeah, no, they were up on Welch Central. So Sterling will play University. The Academy and Lamar are still playing right now on the corresponding field. Bull Sterling's victory over Welch Central, 10-3. Let's see if we get a Lamar update.
It was 9-0 Lamar.
Okay, the pitch. And that is on the inside corner. Runner to second to throw the slide. Safe. Oh, Tatalini got in there ahead of a strong throw by Wallace. And the tag was applied by West, but it was too late. No balls and 1 strike. The Bead Diggers with 2 in scoring position. This is the biggest threat. Well, they actually had a threat a couple of innings ago. No balls and 1 strike. The pitch. Change-up, swing and a miss. Hernandez swung at that pitch super early. 0-2. A huge upset is brewing in Aurora. 5-1 peak to peak, and Karina Laforte has been tough. Her change of pace and location has been masterful. And the pitch in the dirt, scooped up by Wallace. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And even though peak to peak is up 5-1, they have stranded 15 base runners. It could be worse. The Bead Diggers have left 8 on base. 1 ball and 2 strikes, 2 on, 1 out. The pitch swung on and grounded to third, and it's off of Carpenter. It deflects back towards the circle, and a run scores. Second error of the inning. Rule crosses home plate, and it's now 5-2. And the tying run is coming up, and Brisa Aguirre Garcia. Give her the RBI since there was only 1 out. And here we go.
9-1 Lamar in the top of the sixth.
Lamar leads the Academy. That's a 10 seed leading a 7, 9-1 in the sixth inning. And are we going to have a courtesy runner at first base? That's why you hit the ball on the ground. You hit the ball on the ground to have a chance. I think they want some speed at first base. Alicia runs pretty well, but they want even more out here. That's going to be Reese Lambert. The Bee Diggers have the tying run at the plate. Aguirre Garcia has struck out, singled, and popped out. She can tie the game with a round tripper. The pitch in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. And if the Bee Diggers survive this, and rally, I mean, that takes a lot of pressure off going into the quarterfinal. 1-0. Aguirre Garcia awaits the pitch. Swung on and grounded foul along the third base side. Count is level at 1 ball and 1 strike. The tying run is at the plate. The Bee Diggers have scored for the first time since the first inning, 5-2 peak to peak. 1 out, first and third, bottom of the 7th inning. Righty against righty. Lafort to the plate. Swung on and driven foul down the left side. A beautiful swing. 1-2. LaFever waits to hit next. Cashlyn Tatalini tried to bunt for a single. She was thrown out by Carpenter. Since then, Carpenter's had 2 other balls hit to her left but couldn't make the play on either one. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Brisa Aguirre Garcia. Wallace lays down the sign. They going with a changeup. The pitch swung on and lifted towards center field to her right, and making the catch as tagging up from third is Tatalini and scoring. Throw to second and safe. Oh man, getting under. Are they going to call her out? They did call her out. Let's see if the run did count. They're going to call her out. Did she come off the bag? She was safe initially. I think one umpire made one call and the other made the other as Kayla Corain made the catch. And let's see what the call is, because umpires made separate calls when the base runner went to second in Lambert. There's going to be at least 2 outs on what would be a sac fly as Tatalini scored, but there were 2 separate calls made at second base. One was safe and then the other was out, and Peak to Peak is back on the field. The third base umpire signaled safe, and on the right side he signaled out. It's a matter of whose call that is. Man, I don't even know why you would tag up on that play from first. No reason to tag up. I mean, that is a huge risk. And safe is the base runner at second for Brush, but it was a fly ball to center. I guess maybe the anticipation was that the throw was going to be made towards the plate. But really, that is not a good decision. I don't care if she's safe. That is a horrendous decision to send a base runner to second. That run doesn't mean anything because the Bee Diggers are trailing by 2. There's a discussion now with a peak-to-peak coach and the home plate umpire. 5-3, 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning. Give Brisa Aguirre Garcia sac fly and her 36th RBI of the year. Well, thank goodness the first umpire signaled safe. Here's Avery LaFever. Has singled and grounded into a fielder's choice to the shortstop, then grounded to first. She's the tying run. Lafort with pitch number 86 in the dirt with a changeup. 1 ball and no strikes. Here to Avery LaFever. And the offering. That is on the inside corner for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Bee Diggers had a 1-0 lead through 1 inning. It was erased with 2 runs in the third by Peak to Peak. They have led ever since. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the pitch. Swung on and fouled to the backstop. Karina Lafort is one strike away. She's only struck out 2 Bead Diggers in this game. So more than likely, you'll see some contact here. They'll have to make a play defensively. 1-2 for Lefevre. With 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning. The pitch swung on and grounded to third, and it's off the glove of Carpenter. Now she flips to third, and the tag is out. Lambert went to third. She was tagged out. With the shortstop covering, this game ends on a base running miscue. 5-6. It was bobbled by Carpenter. She threw to West covering, and Lambert was tagged out at third, and the Brush Bead Diggers season is over. The final score, Peak to Peak 5, Brush 3. We'll take a break. We'll wrap this up in 2 minutes. You are listening to 1010 KSIR, KSIR.com, on the TuneIn app, and on the Eastern Plains Sports Network. John Beltran back with you. Welcome to the Advanced Agri Solutions post-game show, as the Peak to Peak Pumas pull off a shocker, defeating the Brush Bead Diggers 5-3 in the opening round of the 3A state tournament. Advanced Agri Solutions at 970-571-2024. Call Dusty or Roxy. Make sure the nutrients you purchase for your field are getting to your crops. Get a full plan of seed, food, and water with Advanced Agri Solutions. A crazy 7th inning. Runner at second, 2 outs. A bouncer to third by Lefevre, bobbled by Carpenter. The third baseman picked it up and then tossed it underhand to the shortstop covering at third, getting Lambert going from second to third. That's the way this crazy game and this season ends for Brush. 5 runs on 10 hits, 3 errors, 15 left on base for Peak to Peak. The Bead Diggers 3 runs on 5 hits, 2 errors, and 9 left on base. The winning pitcher was Karina Lafort, and the loss went to Mason Unrein. Time of the game was 2 hours and 2 minutes. The Bead Diggers grabbed the first inning lead on a 2-out RBI single from Alicia Hernandez, but then Mason Unrein had really struggled. She walked 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 more in the 3rd inning, and both runs came to roost as they took the lead. An RBI single for Dagny West was preceded by Leah Laguerre's RBI single, so it was 2-1, and it stayed that way until the 5th inning, when the first hitter reached on an error for Peak to Peak, and they built on that mistake committed by the Bead Diggers, and all of a sudden, Alina Carpenter scored in a wild pitch. They had to use Avery Lefevre as well in that particular inning, but the big hit really was that 2-run double hit later on by Maggie Wallace with 2 outs. And although the Bead Diggers did rally with 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning, Peak to Peak is able to win the game and pull off the shocker with a 15 seed beating the number 2 seed 5-3. Peak to Peak moves to 12-11. They will face the Lamar Thunder in the 3A state quarterfinals. The Bead Diggers had a fabulous season this year, but it is over at 20 wins and 4 losses. A reminder that coming up tonight, it'll be Brush Bead Digger football, as they will take on the University Bulldogs for the league title from Larry Mills Field at Bead Digger Stadium. Bead Digger blast off at 6 o'clock, kickoff at 7 o'clock, and I will be venturing over with Chris Bull Brom on 105.7 KPMX and the Eastern Plains Sports Network, as Sterling will take on University in a 3A quarterfinal. 105.7 KPMX and KPMX.com after University beat Resurrection Christian 1-0 and Sterling won, I believe he said 9-1 over Weld Central. Thanks to all of our sponsors for supporting Brush Bead Digger Morgan County sports during the softball season. The final score once again this afternoon from Aurora Sports Park in the opening round of the 3A state tournament. The 15-seed Peak to Peak upsets the 2nd-seed Brush 5-3. I'm John Beltran for 1010 KSIR and the Eastern Plains Sports Network.